Hey, good evening. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's a late night late night thought that I had, and I'm about to go to bed, and I thought I'd just make one last little thing, one last little point, because it actually it demonstrated something that I've often thought, and that is how your thoughts influence your life. And it's become a well-known phrase now that you create your own reality. Well, what the hell does it mean, you create your own reality? I mean, what do? You go around writing it down and saying this is what I want, or you make I don't know, throw more than a penny into a wishing well. It's not about that. It's actually what you think. And sometimes I often think about that how someone could walk on a 8-foot I-beam high in the sky, and those guys that work on the skyscrapers, they walk on those I-beams, and they are literally hundreds and hundreds of feet from the ground. And if they slip, that there's no question about it, you know. Well, the fall doesn't hurt at all, actually. It's landing. That's the one that really hurts, okay? But if you took any person on the street and painted a line on the ground which was 8 inches wide, and said, can you walk on that? Well, as long as they were sober, they'd be able to do that easily. And if you then put an I-beam on the ground and said, can you walk on the I-beam, and it's on the ground, and it's 10 inches from the ground, and it's 8 inches wide, oh God, yeah, they skip across that like a ballet dancer. It wouldn't be a problem. It's just on the ground. So there's something in the way that they think. So now, if you take that I-beam and you put it up 2 feet, well, they'll walk on that as well, because if they fall, they can just skip off and everybody can jump down 2 feet. And then, so we're still in success range, right? And then we take that same beam and we put it up 10 feet. Now, some of the people who skipped across ballet style are saying, oh, it's time for me to go to lunch, or not in these shoes, or something like that. And if you then lift it 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 100 feet, you'll get a lot of I'm not here anymore, okay? Wouldn't you? Because everything has changed now in the way that they think. Actually, it's still only 8 inches wide, or it's still 8 inches wide, and they skipped across it when it was on the ground. So obviously the way that they think is affecting their actions and their lives. Even if you, for most people, put that I-beam 20 feet off the ground, 50, 100, and offer them, what, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 to walk across it, take them up the lift to a building that is several hundred feet and being built, that I-beam is only 10 feet, say 10 feet long. Will they walk across that for $1 million? I don't think so, because most people want to live more than the possible chance of falling to their death even when there's $1 million on offer. So the way that we think actually does make what happens in our lives. And I had a really good example of this, because as most of you will know, we've had endless delays. Beth keeps on our truck, on getting a truck, and it's been going on for, well, it must be 6 weeks or 2 months. Sebastian, no doubt, will give us the date when we started. So we just got really tired, really disappointed. Beth actually said to the man, and this is very unusual for a Filipina to say to to a man, because they tend not to be confrontational, but she said to him, "You're just full of alibis." She calls it alibis. You and I would call it excuses. So we were really apprehensive even about taking the truck. Well, finally, after all of this, we finally got a phone call that said, "The truck is ready, you can come and pick it up." Now the thing is that we'd seen a truck that was a very similar colour to the one that we now have, and it was in the ICM in Taliban. It was in the parking lot there, and we actually spoke to the man, and he had taken care of his lovingly for 3 years, and the truck was beautiful, and it was a Kia, so it was exactly the same specification as the one that we were going to get, and we were thrilled to think that ours would be like that. Well, then we got the phone call, and we went there, and we talked to the guy, and he gave us a discount, and he agreed to forego the I think he called it the processing of the papers, which he had said that he wanted 6,000 pesos for. That plus he discounted the truck a further 5,000, plus when we went out there were lots of little things, silly little things wrong. The backlight one of the backlights didn't work, and it had a worn, I think they call it like a glove around the gear lever, and well, it looked really tacky. So there was a young man, and he was doing all these little bits and pieces, so I said to him, "Can you do that?" And then I pointed another couple of things out. "Can you do this and can you do that?" And he did them all very happily, and we gave him a nice tip, and everybody was very happy. We came away, and I remember saying to Beth, I hope this truck is not going to be a problem to us." So there is what set the plan. It set what was to be in motion right there. The little nagging doubt about was it really as good as it looked. You remember how many times have we been saddled with that? If it looks too good, if it sounds too good, it probably is. And we're looking at our beautiful truck, and we got into it, and they'd reupholstered all of the leather seats were reupholstered, and it was just beautiful. We all fell in love with it, and then we drove it out. It drove beautifully, and we were really, really happy. Put it onto the ferry, and we took it home, and then by the time we got home, it was dark. Now we'd brought we'd actually gone to the port in the Little Red, and here we are with the Little Red to pick up, and Johnny Peanut drove the Little Red behind us, and we went home. Well, when we got to our path, which is the big challenge, as you know, that's the off-road nightmare, we started up, and for the first time I put the four-wheel drive into motion, and I put the four-wheel drive into motion. I saw the light come on saying four-wheel drive is activated, and I put my foot on the accelerator, and it didn't move. And of course straight away I knew, well, I knew it was too good to be true. Oh, you can't fool me. And right there and then I gave up on it. I mean, I didn't in truth I'd expected it to happen, and I just gave up on it. We tried to get it up the hill. It went up the first hill, and then the second one, which was more like shale, it stopped. So our big beautiful lemon let us down. So we drifted it back and we left it in front of this house that we pass every night on our way home. Now we're talking about a dirt track, okay, so we left it up to the side on a dirt track, making sure that there was enough room for our neighbour who lives high up near where we are to get by. And we all got into the truck and I drove home. We all got into the red truck and I drove everybody home. Very disappointed, very despondent. And the next day we tried, what did we do? On the next day we actually drove down, left a little red, and we took our beautiful non-four-wheel drive truck and we had a day out. We had a day out and we went out and we had a great day out. We had a great day together. We did the zip line and all of that and went on the boat for lunch and then we came back. Well, when we got back, Beth, who usually says things like this, she said, well, maybe it will work now. I'm thinking, Beth, on what basis are you saying that it will work? Nothing's changed. We've just, well, maybe it'll work now. So I put it into four-wheel drive. You know what happened, don't you? I don't have to tell you. The damn thing worked. Not perfectly, but it got us home. Now so once again I'm cursing this woman that I'm married to that will say things like, on the basis of my perception, yes, this is what she says, on the basis of my perception, I feel it will do this or do that. So the next day we're all getting ready to go to work. Now while we were out, we'd stopped at this little restaurant that we stop at, which is where we've now started uploading some of the videos, and we looked at the hubs. I was looking at the hubs and I realized that they're locking hubs. Now in the old days, before they managed to put the control linkage up, you had to get out of the truck, switch it on to lock and get back in again, and then the front wheels would be locked into four-wheel drive. And then when you got to the other end, you get out, unlock them on both sides, and then it's two-wheel drive again. So we're not quite sure. By this time it's a little bit dirty and you can't clearly see, but we changed one and put it on to lock, and the others, that's it. What happened? We turned one and we must have left it on. So when we came to get up the path, it was in three-wheel drive, because the next morning I was reversing to get the truck ready to go down the hill. So we got that little area where you can do a 3 or 33-point turn and get it done. And Johnny was looking and he said, you know, I can see something on that front wheel, the front driver's side wheel. I can see the axle spinning, but the wheel is not turning. So that made us think, maybe it's just, and we looked and it was unlocked. And we put it on lock, which is where it stays now because we have the linkage, and since then it has worked perfectly, in spite of everything that I thought. Can you see? At first, what I thought influenced the way that I made our life unfold. I was convinced that it would not work, that it wasn't going to work, that the truck would somehow let us down. And it did. But it wasn't the truck that let us down, it was my lack of faith in the truck. And yet, while we were driving along later, before we'd actually put this right and had a successful ride, I said to Johnny, you know, there's something about the way that the manager, who we'd been accusing of making all the alibis, there was something about the way that he spoke. He said, I said, so you've checked the four-wheel drive out and everything, so everything is working perfectly now? He said, yes. He said, well, there's no point in saying that it works and allowing you to drive it away if it doesn't work, is there? Then it wouldn't be four-wheel drive. Famous last words. The only thing he forgot was locking in the hubs. Sorry, sir. The truck is really beautiful. We're so happy with it. Okay, I've been on too long. 15 minutes. She'll kill me. Bye for now.